Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another Gmod FNAF review video. Today, we're going to be checking out the Honeydew toy animatronic Ragdolls slash player models. So each of these characters is their own separate add-on, so all the add-ons will be linked in the description below. But we got 5 characters we will be checking out in today's video. So we have Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Toy Foxy, and the puppet. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and start off with Mr. Toy Freddy. Hey everyone, it's me, Toy Freddy, and I hope you're ready. So the cool thing with these Honeydew toy animatronic ragdolls is they got like this mixture of a cartoonish vibe, maybe an anime vibe. I mean, they do have those big old anime eyes, but they also still have their regular animatronic appearances. So I feel like they got that style perfectly with a nice mixture of both a cartoon and original animatronic to these models. Anyways, everybody knows a Toy Freddy, and yes, he may be a little chunkier than the others, but that means there's so much more to love. So right off the bat, I am noticing these weird little extra specks. They look like extra freckles just floating right in front of Toy Freddy's mouth. Yeah, there's like these little extra freckles just floating in front of Toy Freddy. So I don't know what those are supposed to be for. I think they're connected to his pelvis. Yeah, so he has these little specks just floated in front of his face. And I did also notice that his bow tie is actually clipping inside of his torso right here. Like, you can see his bow tie goes like halfway through his torso, but this is what the bow tie is supposed to look like. So those are pretty much the only flaws with a Toy Freddy, is those little specks and also his bow tie. But other than that, he looks fantastic. So you can see that he does still have the regular ball joints that the toy animatronics normally would have, but you can actually see that they do have some metal lines in them, and also he does have some different lines on the plastic pieces of him, mainly on his torso. If we go up to his head, his ears don't have ragdoll physics, but they do have some jiggle bones, so whenever this guy moves around, and also whenever you use him as a player model, the ears will move with the model. Also, Toy Freddy does not have a tail, but all of the other characters besides the puppet have a tail, so I did want to go ahead and point that out as well. So it looks like that's pretty much it to Toy Freddy's main appearance. So we do actually have some body groups and skins. So first of all, the body groups are pretty simple. Remove his top hat, remove his bow tie, and we can also give him his microphone. And he does actually come with some props for the microphone and also his hat that you can spawn in separately. But we do have a Toy Freddy's skin. So the cool thing with these toy animatronics is that they all have their own unique skins. So with Toy Freddy, obviously you have the regular look with skin 0. Skin 1 will give him the solid black eyes whenever Toy Freddy is in the office of FNAF 2. We have skin 2, which is Golden Toy Freddy. We then have skin 3, which is a alternate version of Golden Toy Freddy. I guess you could call this a Golden Toy Fredbear. Basically replaces the orange colors with purple colors. And then finally we have skin 4, which is a Shadow Toy Freddy. So his teeth and also his eyes will glow in the dark, but the rest of his body is a solid black. And then with the hat over here, we do also have skins for the Golden Toy Freddy. So we have skin 0, which is regular Toy Freddy with the red stripe. We have skin 1, which is the first version of Golden Toy Freddy with the orange stripe. And then we have skin 2, which is basically the Toy Fredbear with the purple stripe. And let's also go ahead and become him as a player model really quickly. So this is what it's like to actually be the Toy Freddy player model. Ah, there you go. So whenever you're playing as him as a player model, he doesn't have those black specks floating in front of him, and also his bow tie is fixed. So it is a little weird that it is slightly messed up on the ragdoll over here. Also, it looks like with the player model version, the joints, mainly the torso to the pelvis, and then also the legs, and also the arms too, it looks like the joints are actually compressed slightly closer together than the ragdoll. So I gotta say, the player model does look way better than the ragdoll, but it's still nice to have both options. However, the only issue issue with the Toy Freddy player model is the thumbs. If you look very closely, Toy Freddy, can we get a close-up of your... I said your thumb, not your tummy tum. Yeah, if you look closely at Toy Freddy's thumb, you can see that the thumb actually doesn't go into the joint slot on the hand. So it's kind of like clipping halfway through his hand. So that is the only problem with the Toy Freddy player model. But you can see that the thumbs are actually fine on the Ragdoll. So that's the only iffy thing about the player model. But again, with the player model, the bow tie's fixed. He doesn't have those random black specks floating in front of him, and his joints are compressed slightly closer together. So out of Toy Freddy skins, I gotta say my favorite one is easily the golden Toy Fredbear skin with the purple accessory colors. I gotta say this one is definitely my favorite skin of a Toy Freddy. And with Golden Toy Freddy, he does have the solid black eyes, but if you wanted to, you could grab something like the sub material tool and get those alternate eyes from the Shadow Toy Freddy, and we could actually put it on this Golden Toy Freddy. So I think it's shadeless. Yeah, there we go. Oh, this guy looks so cool. But next up we have is a Toy Bonnie, and I'm gonna be completely honest, this is Finboy Toy Bonnie. This is all he needs is some Finboy socks, and this is Finboy Toy Bonnie, bro. Look at those thighs, bro. Look at his build. This, you cannot tell me this is not meant to be a Finboy. So here we go, Toy Bonnie. And unlike Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie does actually have a little bunny tail in the back, and yes, the tail does actually have some little jiggle bone physics. Same with the ears on a Toy Bonnie. But other than that, Toy Bonnie is a pretty simple character. Again, he's got them big old Finboy thighs. He has the red bow tie, which is actually a bit more proper than a Toy Freddy's bow tie. And he does have the purple eyelids, the green eyes. Oh my gosh, he has those big old anime eyes. But if you look closely, you can see that he does still have the bunny buck teeth. And he does actually come with his own prop, which is his guitar in the newer guitar style. So this is the only prop that Toy Bonnie comes with. Now, if we look at Toy Bonnie's body groups, we can see that he actually has some interesting body groups. There's no body group to remove his bow tie, but we can remove his eyelids, we can remove his endo, and we can also remove his joints. So at first I was like, what the heck? Why would you want to remove all this stuff with Toy Bonnie? But then that's when I realized it's basically for his skins. So obviously skin 0 is regular Toy Bonnie, but skin 1 is a Shadow Toy Bonnie, aka RXQ. And with this version of Shadow Bonnie, you can actually remove the joints and also remove the endoskeleton. So that way he actually has the floating different joints. So if you like Shadow Bonnie with separate joints, you can go ahead and toggle those body groups, or you can leave him with the joints still intact. So that's basically what those body groups are used for. But again, it's kind of interesting that he doesn't have a simple body group to remove the bow tie like you can remove Toy Freddy's bow tie. But anyways, we do actually have some more skins. So with skin 2 is a Shadow Bonnie, but instead of him being solid black, he does actually have some proper material that light will reflect off of. So honestly, I gotta say I like this version of Shadow Bonnie way more than the solid black Shadow Bonnie, because that way you can actually kind of see the different details on his model, basically with like his freckles, his cheeks, also his eyebrows. And then we have a skin 3, which is actually a purple version of a Shadow Bonnie. We have a skin 4, which is basically the golden Toy Bonnie. So this golden Toy Bonnie will match up with this golden Toy Freddy. And it looks like this golden Toy Bonnie actually has a separate skin that will automatically give him those special eyes. And the one thing I want to point out with the eyes is with a Shadow Bonnie, the eyes are shadeless, so the eyes are solid black, but with Golden Toy Bonnie, light will actually reflect off of the eyes. So that is one interesting detail right there. But anyways, after Golden Toy Bonnie, we actually have a white rabbit skin, and instead of a white bow tie, he does actually have a black bow tie. And then finally, skin 7 is a white rabbit, but with those special eyes installed. So I gotta say, Golden Toy Bonnie is really cool to have. That way he matches up with a Golden Toy Freddy. but if I had to choose my favorite skin for Toy Bonnie, it would have to be a, I don't know. The black looks really good with Shadow Bonnie, but having the purple option is really nice as well. So for game accuracy, I gotta go with skin 2. I think skin 2, Shadow Bonnie with the reflective material, is my favorite skin for Toy Bonnie, but the purple variation is incredibly nice to have as well. Next up we have is Toy Chica, and I gotta say, for these characters, Toy Chica definitely has some of the most changes done to her compared to her original animatronic self from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So I mean, hey, first of all, she is called Toy Thicka for a reason. So I was about to say Toy Bonnie has the same thighs as Toy Chica, but I think her thighs are, yeah, her thighs look a little bigger since she is a feminine. Also, since she is a feminine, her torso is actually slimmer around the waist and her chest is puffed out a little forwards. But anyways, when it comes to this Toy Chica model, in the back she actually has these long feathers as a tail. So I gotta say, this is a interesting take on a Toy Chica, but I actually really like it. You can see that she does still have the Let's Party bib on, and you can actually see how it connects up in the back, so that's a cool detail. But another main difference with a Toy Chica is the legs. So in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Toy Chica only has the orange feet, and then her legs are solid yellow. However, this version of Toy Chica actually takes some inspiration from FNAF 1 Chica, where the bottom half of her legs are actually orange. So that is another difference between this Toy Chica and the regular Toy Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But other than that, the rest of her is pretty simple. She does still have the beak, the cheeks, and the purple eyelids. So if we dive into her body groups, we can actually remove her tail in the back. Just know that if you do remove the tail, her her panties will have a little hole in the back of them where the tail is supposed to connect. Going back to the body groups, we can actually remove the eyelashes from her eyelids. We can remove her beak, so that way we can see the endoskeleton jaw behind the mask, and we can also remove the endo teeth as well. So if you don't want her to have those endo teeth, you can remove those. And then we can remove her joints and also her endoskeleton, just like a Toy Bonnie. So it's kind of, now it's interesting that Toy Freddy doesn't have those body groups. It was like kind of interesting that Toy Bonnie doesn't have the bow tie body group, but everyone else has this endo and joint body group, but Toy Freddy doesn't have that whatsoever. So anyways, let's go over Toy Chica's skins. So if we set her from skin 0 to skin 1, she will actually get the spooky silver eyes. And then skin 2, she still has those spooky eyes, but her eyelids switch from the purple color to the metal eyelids, basically whenever she is in her free roam scary variation, whenever she loses her beak. So now we can go back to the body group and remove her beak. So this is Toy Chica during the nighttime. Also, I'm pretty sure the nighttime version of Toy Chica actually doesn't have the eyelashes, so this is what she looks like during the nighttime. I gotta say, she actually does look way better with the eyelashes still on. And then the final skin we have for Toy Chica is a Shadow Toy Chica skin. Oh, that is so creepy looking, and you can actually see that the endoskeleton teeth will glow up in the dark, and if we give her the beak back, then you can see that her beak teeth actually have the glow effect as well. So that's probably why you would want to remove the endoskeleton teeth, is if you had this Shadow Toy Chica with her beak on, you can remove the endo teeth, so that way there isn't a bunch of clashing white glow effects going on inside of her mouth. So it is actually really cool that we do have shadow variations of all of these toy animatronics, and once again we can remove the joints, so that way she will look like Shadow Bonnie without the joints. And that's pretty much all the main stuff to Toy Chica. Now she does come with her own prop. Well, I say prop, this guy is actually kind of a ragdoll, so she does come with her own little toy cupcake, and this toy cupcake does actually have some buck teeth, just like the cupcake from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. However, the original toy cupcake from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 doesn't have any teeth whatsoever, so I thought that was a nice little detail. But if you look very closely, this guy does have some subtle ragdoll physics, just barely. He just barely has some ragdoll physics where his little cupcake head can shuffle from left to right just slightly. If you look very closely, you can actually see that the candle is illuminating some light, so it should glow in the dark. So if we turn off the lights over here, yeah, you can actually see that the candle does light up in the dark. And we do also have some skins for this cupcake as well. So we can actually, first of all, we can remove the candle, and we can also remove the plate in the body groups. And then for the skins, we have the regular toy cupcake. We have a golden toy cupcake from the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 Easter egg. And then we have a shadow cupcake. So with the shadow cupcake, the teeth, the eyes, the candle, and the plate will glow white in the dark. Oh, that is creepy. Yo, we're getting the whole shadow army assembled over here. Nah, that is disturbing, but that's actually really cool that the cupcake has gotten some skins as well. So there you go, bonus little cupcake. But next up, we are moving on to Toy Foxy. And I gotta say, out of these 5 characters, Toy Foxy is easily my favorite when it comes to their appearances for their models. So Toy Foxy has the exact same build as a Toy Chica. Once again, she has that feminine style to her. So she has the thick thighs, the thin waist, and the puffed out chest. But if we actually look at her back, you can see that she is wearing her pink bow tie, but she does have it on backwards, so you can actually see it on the back of her neck. And unlike a Toy Bonnie and Toy Freddy's bow tie, her bow tie actually has 2 little ribbons coming out of it. We can also see that she does have this long foxtail in the back, and just like all the other tails, it does have some jiggle physics. Same with her ears. We can see that she does actually have the painted toenails and also the painted fingernails as well. So that's something that's exclusive to Toy Foxy. That is something that the other toy animatronics do not have. And if we look very closely, we can see that she has on all the different makeup. She has on her lipstick. She has on like 2 different sets of eyelashes. So she has eyelashes on her eyelids, and then she also has eyelashes on her mask. So if we go into her body group, so we can actually remove the eyelashes on her mask, which I gotta say, she looks way better with those eyelashes. We can remove her eyebrows, because whenever you see Mangle in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, she actually doesn't have any eyebrows, so you can toggle those on and off. We can toggle her bow tie on and off, the tail on and off in the back, and she actually comes with some extra accessories. So we can actually give her a eye patch and also a pirate hat. Yar, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the, well, it was originally the Pirates Cove until the kittens took over. So us pirates have to get our land back from those dang kittens. So she has on this cute little eye patch and also a pirate hat. And you can actually see that the pirate hat does actually have some ear holes for the ears to fit perfectly through. So I thought that was really cool that she does have this pirate outfit. However, it looks like there is no option to actually give her a pirate hook. So she does come with her own props. We have the pirate hat and also the pirate eye patch as their own props. And she does actually have a hook as a prop. So I thought this was kind of interesting. She has a hook for a prop, but you can't actually give the hook to the ragdoll / a player model. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So it would be cool if in the future we do get a body group that swaps out her right hand for the hook. But anyways, we do have some different skins for Toy Foxy. So obviously we have the regular Mangle colors. We then have a Lolbit skin where we have the orange and purple with those silver eyes. We then have a Tangle skin, basically replaces the orange with green. And then finally we have skin 3, which is a Shadow Mangle skin. And oh my gosh, her shadow skin looks insanely sinister. I think it's because her eyes are different from the other shadows. You can see that the regular shadows have the silver eyes with a black ring and then a white ring around them, but with her, she actually has a black pupils, the white ring, a thin black ring, and then a extra white ring. So I think that's what makes Shadow Mangle way creepier than the other Shadow animatronics when it comes to her eyes. But another cool thing with Mangle here is if we once again give her the pirate hat and the eye patch, it will actually change textures based off of what skin you have equipped. So again, we have the regular skin, we have the Lolbit skin where the hat becomes a purple, we have the Tangle skin where the hat becomes green, and then the Shadow skin, it becomes black. However, the heart and the outline of the hat will glow white in the dark. And yes, we can actually give those different skins to the pirate hat prop and also the eye patch as well. So out of the skins, obviously, again, I do really like the regular version of a Toy Foxy, but I gotta say, my favorite skin has to be Lolbit. I love the colors on Lolbit right here. So Lolbit is my favorite skin for Toy Foxy. And also another thing I gotta say I do like about this Toy Foxy model is, unlike a Toy Freddy and Toy Bonnie where they have their center stomach as a different color, she actually has a heart slapped right on her chest. So she does have this little heart shape going on. So I do actually love that instead of a secondary stomach color for her. So that's something else I really do like about this Toy Foxy model. But anyways, let's move on to the final model, which is the puppet. I gotta say, the puppet is also another fantastic model in this pack. Obviously, the puppet is very different from the other toy animatronics, and you can see that it has carried over with this Honeydew model of the puppet. All of the other toy animatronics are made out of this plastic material, but if you look very closely with the puppet, you can see that she is mostly made out of this fabric material. So it is a small detail, but I absolutely love that for her. And then obviously the mask does have those plastic textures. So the puppet is a super simple character, basically a thin feminine figure with a puppet mask on the top with some stripes. But you can see that the main difference between this puppet and the toy puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is, first of all, this puppet actually has a little more meat on the bones, so she is a little thicker, because the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is insanely skinny. So I like that they did actually give her a little more thickness. And also, since the puppet is feminine, she does have a little more thickness in the chest and also in the hips. She does actually come with this extra little tutu around her neck. She does have the iconic 3 buttons, the white stripes, and then she has her iconic white mask with the purple tears, the red lipstick, and also the red cheeks. However, this version of Puppet does actually have some faint black eyebrows above her. So that is a small detail, but it makes her, you know, it makes it look like she doesn't have a giant forehead. So I actually really do like the faint eyebrows on her. So if we go into her body groups, first of all, we can toggle her eyes on, so she will have the white eye glow effect. We can toggle the mask on and off. Same with this mask strap. So this is a super small detail and it's super easy to miss, but if we look at her from the side and look very closely, you can actually see that there is a mask strap that connects her mask around her head. So that way it's not just like a mask that's just like thrown right on front of her face. It's actually one you have to put on with the strap. But if you don't like the strap, you can toggle that on and off. So that is a super small, subtle detail that is super easy to miss because it does kind of blend in with the fabric textures. But once you see it, you're like, wow, that is a really cool effect. We can remove the buttons from her chest. We can also remove the tutu from her neck. So now this is basically Puppet looking more like herself from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But we can actually give her some bonus eyelashes. I love it whenever the puppet has eyelashes. In my own Gmod FNAF AU, I eventually decided to give the puppet some eyelashes, and I just think she looks so much better with the eyelashes instead of her mask being super empty. But anyways, for puppet skins, first of all, if we switch her to skin 1, she will lose the purple tears. Skin 2, she regains the purple tears, but instead of the white glow effect, she actually has the green glow effect from the FNAF 6 minigame. Skin 3 is the green eye glow effect without the purple tears. And then we have skin 4, which is the shadow puppet skin. And then we have skin 5, which is shadow puppet, but with the green eye glow effect. So I mean, obviously the puppet doesn't have any teeth, so that's what does make this shadow feel way more emptier than the other shadow animatronics, and also especially because she only has the white pupil without any extra white rings going on. So her shadow is just kind of disturbing. It's like a sleep paralysis demon. So I gotta say, her shadow is probably my least favorite out of the shadow animatronics. Hers is just way more creepier, like something you would see as like an Easter egg or like something in the background of something. And I also wish there was more of a glowing effect to her, but I don't really know what glowing stuff you would add to her, because again, with the other shadows, it's mainly their eyes and their teeth that glow in the dark, but obviously the puppet doesn't have any teeth, so unless they gave like an extra body group to give her some teeth, kind of similar to a Nightmare On from FNAF 4, or if they were to make something where her makeup would glow in the dark, like maybe the tears could glow in the dark or something. So again, the shadow skin does feel a little bland to me, but I gotta say, it is really cool that she does actually have the green eye glow effect for an extra skin. And we do have some props for the puppet. So up first we have is the puppeteer prop, which is the base for the strings. So we only see this in FNAF 2 whenever Puppet is rising out of her box. So if you wanted to, you could actually have this floating above her head and then use the rope tool to actually attach some strings to the puppet and actually control her as a proper marionette. And then she does actually come with her own box, and the box does actually have some ragdoll physics to the lid. However, it's kind of broken. I'm not gonna lie. It shuffles side to side, just like the toy cupcake over here. How the toy cupcake's head can shuffle side to side. Oh, there we go. Actually, the toy cupcake actually has some more motion to him. Hi everyone, it's me, the toy cupcake. Okay, that guy actually has more ragdoll physics than I originally thought. But the box lid will just shuffle from side to side. And if we look in the back, you can actually see that the box does have some proper joints. So the box is supposed to open up normally, but yeah, this one, it is kind of broken. So I wish they would have changed it so that way you can actually just properly like open the lid, open wide, and then put the puppet inside instead of it just shuffling side to side. So we do actually have some body groups for the box. So first of all, we can get rid of the hinges in the back. We can get rid of the big bow tie on top. We can get rid of the top of the box, and then we can also get rid of the base of the box. So we can just get rid of everything on this box. So it's nice that we can at least remove the top of it, and then we could go ahead and put the puppet inside. Yay, I got my box back. Yippee! Oh, she looks incredibly good. Now, one thing I do need to point out with the ragdoll is her shoulders. So whenever she moves around, basically her shoulders, every now and then, they will clip into the front of her chest, and they will kind of like overlap on her first button. So that does happen every now and then. So that is just something to kind of keep in mind, is that there is a little clip-in with that top button. But anyways, that's pretty much it to these brand new Honeydew Ragdolls slash player models. So will we get any more in the future of characters like Balloon Boy, JJ, maybe the Wizards? I have no idea. We will just have to wait and see. Again, I gotta say, I really do like these models, and if I would have to rank them, first place would easily go to Toy Foxy, second place would be Puppet, third place would be Toy Chica, fourth place, I think I have to give it to Finboy Toy Bonnie, and then fifth place is Toy Freddy. So let me know how you guys would rank these 5 characters in the comments down below. And again, these characters are their own separate add-ons, so I will have all 5 of them linked in the description below. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!